and welcome back to my channel. It's such an exciting day. So, I'm so excited, guys. Like, I can't even contain myself. Like, it's just, So, guess what this weekend is? It's the Kentucky Derby, and I am so excited for the Kentucky Derby. Like, my birthday's on Monday, but I'm like way more excited for the Kentucky Derby than for my birthday. So anyways, I thought this would be my one fun chance to get on here and talk horse racing with you guys all, because I love talking about that. Nobody ever really is excited when I get on my rants about horse racing, except for this time of year. So, I'm assuming most of you don't know a lot about horse racing, so I'm going to kind of like explain what the Kentucky Derby is and like the road to the Kentucky Derby and how the horses get there, and then I'm going to go in and tell you guys what my picks are for who's going to win and like how I got to those picks, and yeah, I'm so excited. So, let's start with what is the Kentucky Derby? So the Kentucky Derby is like a one of three part of a 3-year-old stake race, horse stake race, and horses age up at the beginning of the year, so it doesn't really matter when they're born throughout the year. Once their 3rd year of life comes around, they turn 3. So yeah. So, it is a 3-year-old stake races. It's one of 3 parts because it is the first leg of the Triple Crown series, which is like the best of the best horses, 3-year-olds of that time. And so there's only like a handful of Triple Crown horses. So there's only a handful of Triple Crown horses out there, which makes it even more exciting to see if the next horse can get it. We've had 2 recent Triple Crown winners. Hi. American Pharaoh in 2016, I think, and then Justify last year in 2018. So we'll be excited to see if we get one again this year. I don't know how that'll stack up, but we will see. So, how do the horses get into the the Kentucky Derby? Oh, I forgot to mention, the Kentucky Derby is the first leg, and that's the Preakness Stakes and then the Belmont Stakes, and the Kentucky Derby is the middle length of the races. The Preakness is the shortest and the Belmont is the longest. And yeah, so how does one get their horse in the Kentucky Derby? Well, when they're 2, you basically pay a lot of money to nominate them so that they might run into the Kentucky Derby. And then you enter your horses into as many races as you can on the road to the Kentucky Derby. So there's a whole bunch of races in the US and in Dubai that get you points towards going into the Kentucky Derby. And so they start in the middle of September and end in the middle of April. And each race varies in different amount of points. What I found is that the higher point races are right at the end of March and right at the beginning of April. Not trotting breds, that's what we have now. Thoroughbreds only race about once a month, maybe twice, it kind of depends, but mostly once a month. So the end of March, beginning of April, that is right in that, ouch, you bit me, that's not very nice. That is right in that sweet spot of being able to run in the Kentucky Derby at full rested health. So, yeah, so the horses that are in, so they take the top 22 horses with the most points, and those are eligible to run in the Kentucky Derby. There is a exception this year, which I will talk about a little bit later, but the top 20 horses run, and then the 2 horses that are left over are alternates in case anybody drops out last minute. or scratches. So, yeah, I think that explains it all. There is a 20-horse field this year. There is the one exception this year is Master Fencer. He is a horse from Japan. So he was invited to run, so he never actually competed in any of the Road to the Kentucky Derby races, but they invited him to compete into the Kentucky Derby. This is the first ever Japan-bred horse entering into the Kentucky Derby, and this opens the betting to Japan, so it kind of creates like a wider market of people to bet on these races. And so that's kind of like, I think that's the main reason that they allowed this horse to be entered. Personally, that's what I think. So I don't expect this horse to do very much, but you know, who knows? Nobody's ever raced against him. Right. Okay, so let's go into my list and how I kind of look at it when determining, like, you're gonna bite me. When determining who I think is going to win. So one of the first things I take into consideration is the bloodlines. I know that can have a small factor in the... Maya, stop biting me. Go away, please. I don't want you. Don't bite me. Go see if mommy will feed you. But I look at bloodlines and the pedigree of the horses, and that can play a small factor. So if you're, well, it can play a medium factor. I think, like, a lot of times if you get good bloodlines, there's more of a higher chance that you're gonna have a good horse. And so I look at the bloodlines. I was very surprised and also very pleased that there's a lot of horses that were descendants of AP Indy, and that is AP Indy is out of Seattle Slew, who was a Triple Crown winner in 1977, and then its dam was out of, dam is the mother horse, just in case you didn't know that. It's out of Secretariat, so it's like 2 Triple Crown winners into like 1 horse, and so that is like throughout almost all of the breedings, and I think that's pretty cool. So I like the horses that were closer to AP Indy's bloodline, so it'd be like their grandsire, sire's the dad of the horse, or their great grandsire, but I like the grandsires a little bit more. The next thing to look at is their trainer. Now if you look at all the odds, you'll see that all of Bob Baffert's horses have super low odds. That's because Bob Baffert was the trainer of American Pharoah and Justify, so like he's killing it on the training of the horses. So a lot of people expect his horses to do really good. He has 3 entered into the, I don't want the kisses. He has 3 entered into the Kentucky Derby this year. I think 2 of them are definitely big contenders. One of them is kind of like on the fence, but 2 of them are definitely big contenders. And to keep a lookout on for. That didn't make any sense, but you understand. The next thing I look at is the number of races that they run, or that they have run, and then their records over that. So the the favorite right now is undefeated. He's ran 2 races, won both of them. That is Omaha Beach, and I'm gonna like put the whole thing up here when I get to talking about like actually who I pick, just so you know. And then I look at post position. You don't want your horse to be all the way on the inside of the track, because then they could get cut off as the outside horses come in. And you don't want them to be all the way on the outside of the track, because then they have a lot longer way to go. So you want them to be kind of more towards the middle, but not like completely in the middle, but towards the middle. So, I guess we can move on to, oh, if you're wondering why I'm looking down so much, I made like a whole like cheat sheet because I'm a nerd. So, I guess we'll move on to who I think is going to win. I have a couple picks. I have like 5 horses that are definitely ones to look at. I have an underdog that I don't know why I like this horse, but I want it to win. So, one second. Okay, so my hardcore pick that I think is going to win is Tacitus. Right now his odds are 1 to 10. He is the highest points holder, so he has 150 points in the points to get into the Kentucky Derby. He is undefeated right now. He's won 3 straight races. I mean, I'm really pulling for Tacitus. Plus, he's gray and really pretty, so I think that's a factor. The other horse I think that has a good shot is Omaha Beach. I mean, that is the favorite right now. Everything I've like looked at says he's like pretty good. So he's a dark bay, so it's not as pretty as a gray, but I think if Omaha Beach wins the Kentucky Derby, he's not going to win the Triple Crown because looking at his breeding, he is out of like, he has Northern Dancer in his line, and that horse is, I feel like he's bred for short distances, not really long, and the Belmont's really long. So those are the 2. Tacitus is my number 1. Omaha Beach, number 2. Other horses that I think you should definitely look out for is Roadster. That is one of Bob Baffert's horses. That one is also undefeated, but he's only competed in 1 other race. So, I don't know. I don't know. And then Maximum Security. I was watching this video today where they were talking about Maximum Security and that if they let this horse get out on top, I'll definitely link the video down below if you want to. This guy is like super into it. Not as much as I am. But, wait, no. Way more than I am. But he thinks that if Maximum Security will get out on top, then he's gone and nobody's going to catch him. Another one is Game Winner. That is another one of Bob Baffert's horses. He has potential. I don't think that he is as good as Roadster, but he could be. And then the last horse to keep a don't count out is the Master Fencer, the Japanese horse. Just because nobody really knows, like you can kind of look up what he's done, but in comparative to like the other horses, it's kind of apples and oranges. So definitely keep a lookout for him. My underdog that I really want to win, but I probably won't, is Cutting Humor. I don't know why. I just feel like this horse should win. So that is my thing. And then on the other flip side of the Kentucky Derby, there's also the Kentucky Oaks run on Friday. And I guess that one is kind of like there's one horse that's standalone really good, and that's Bellafina compared to all the others. So not a lot of people talk about the Kentucky Oaks, but that is personally my favorite race, one that I really want to go see. So maybe someday, but yeah. Well, I think that is it for my video. I think I got all of it out and my nerd knowledge is now onto you, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do like it, and don't forget to subscribe. I might do a birthday vlog. I don't know. I'm not gonna do much on my birthday, so I don't know yet, but we'll see. But if you want to see that, definitely subscribe, hit the little bell icon so you can see the next time that I post, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!